I did mine on Jonathan Pollard, who spied for Israel. The purpose of this is to learn about him, why he did what he did, look for any psychological problems that may lead to why he spied, and what is going on with him now. Some background on him was he was born August 7th, 1954 in Galveston, Texas. He was born to a Jewish family. He was the youngest of three. His father was an award-winning microbiologist. He taught at Notre Dame. He was raised where loyalty as a Jew and as an American were one, but which he found as conflict later on in his career. The problem started when he got into a fight on a field trip to Israel and was labeled as an unstable troublemaker. This was his first start to where the trouble began. In college, he claimed, and he also said he worked for Mossad and was a colonel in the Israeli Defense Forces, which started his compulsive. He was enrolled in several graduate schools, but never completed one. His career. He applied to the CIA and the Navy for intelligence field. He was denied by the CIA for excessive drug use during his polygraph test, which they found out. He was hired by the Navy in the Field Operation Intelligence Office, where he was a specialist in Soviet issues. The reason he got this job was because they did not require a polygraph test. The Navy did ask the CIA about their polygraph test. The problems at work were 2 months in, the director wanted him terminated due to him lying about his father being in the CIA and being an agent. Instead, his boss reassigned him to Human. A month later, he was granted the SCII clearance he needed for his job. Then again, his clearance. More problems at work. When they were requested by the CIA to assess Pollard. He was given a polygraph, evaluated by a psychiatrist, and his clearance was reduced to secret. Pollard was not happy with this. He threatened to sue. After this, he got his SCI clearance back because they did not want to be sued. The recruitment of him becoming a spy. Pollard met Avim Sela, a combat veteran of the Israel Air Force. They got talking, and Pollard ended up offering himself to be a spy. He told Sela that he had information that the U.S. was withholding and thought Israel should know about. Sela at first was hesitant, thought it was an FBI sting to catch spies. The espionage begins in June 1984 when he started passing classified information to Sela. In exchange, he received $10,000 cash and an expensive diamond sapphire ring, which he later used to propose to his current girlfriend now, who would play a big role in his spying. He received $1,500 per month for more information that he gave. Suspicion grew in 1985 when a co-worker reported him removing classified documents at unusual times. Then his superior noticed unsecured documents on Pollard's desk, investigated more, and found out that they were not in the area he was supposed to be working. When he further dug, he found more documents checked out by Jonathan that were far from. The investigation started when the FBI stopped and questioned him. Jonathan agreed to a voluntary questioning. Then he asked for a phone call, which the FBI could not decline because this questioning was voluntary. Through this phone call, he tipped off his wife, gave her a code word to get rid of all the documents in the house, which the capture of Jonathan was on November 21st, 1985, when him and his wife attempted to gain asylum at the Israel Embassy in Washington, D.C. To their surprise, they were denied access by the guards. They begged and pleaded with the guards, but the guards talked to their superiors and kicked them off the embassy grounds. As soon as they stepped off the grounds, the FBI swarmed in and captured Jonathan. Tension rise between U.S. and Israel. Israel declined any involvement with him in this operation. When asked to return the materials that were sold to them, they only returned a few documents, and not nearly as much as the 10,000s of documents Pollard gave them. When investigators traveled to Israel, they were treated with high hostility. The trial. He said he was motivated by other reasons than greed, that he wanted to make the relationship better between Israel and America. He wanted a plea bargain for him and his wife. He was denied, but his wife was granted one only if he cooperated with authorities. During this several-month investigation on his damage assessment, they sentencing began on March 4th, 1987, when he was sentenced to life in prison. The prosecutor tried following the plea agreement not to prosecute fully on the sentence, but the judge did not have to follow and imposed the life in prison. His wife was sentenced to 5 years, but was released 3.5 due to a health issue. I read that he was most likely going to be. Israel had denied any involvement with him until 1998. They claimed that he worked for an unauthorized rogue operation at first. They eventually started trying to help him. While in jail, his father was dying. They tried to help him go see him, but that was denied. And then after his father died, they tried getting him access to the funeral, but they were both denied by the U.S. government. He then tried to become a citizen of Israel, but was not allowed because he was not currently in Israel and could not get there. He then tried to renounce his American citizenship and take on the Israel's citizenship again, so that once released from prison, he could go right to Israel, but they were both denied. The public had a big role in this case. His family, life, his Jewish group in America and Israel both fought for his release. They said since he spied for an ally, it should not be as bad since he did not spy for an enemy. They have seen harsher punishment. They have seen some psychological issues that he may have had. Are he was a compulsive liar. He always had to be right. He was always making up stories. He was bullied as a kid and wanted to feel power. He felt unappreciated at work. He lied to his bosses multiple times, which were reasons why his clearance was requested to be revoked on a few occasions. He thought he was helping when he was spying. And that is the end of my presentation.